तो बेहद सफल रहा प्रधानमंत्री का दौरा और इसकी तस्वीरें में देखिए। और आइए अब सीधे रुक करते हैं भाजपा के राष्ट्रीय मुख्यालय का, जहां इस वक्त हरदीप सिंह पुरी एक प्रेस वार्ता को संबोधित कर रहे हैं।
पॉजिटिव विजिट्स थी फ्रांस और UAE, उसके बारे में आपको ओवरव्यू दूंगा और फिर जैसा आप ठीक समझे वी कैन टेक अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस आल्सो। मैं अभी जब आपको मिलने की तैयारी कर रहा था, सो आई वॉज struck by a tweet that President Macron had put out. Or I just want to read out to you that tweet. It says, giant in the history of the world, in the defining role of the future, strategic partner, friend, happy to host India as a guest of honor for this 14th July parade. फिर उन्होंने कहा, a giant in world history with a decisive role to play in the future, a strategic partner, a friend. Now, the Hindi translation of this is also available when I saw it on Instagram, but I think this short tweet sums up the reception that was accorded to the Honorable Prime Minister in France. जैसे आपको ऑलरेडी जानकारी है, the Honorable Prime Minister was not only the special guest at the 14th July celebrations, he was the guest of honor at the Bastille Day military parade in France, but also he was the first Indian Prime Minister to be bestowed the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor. It is the highest French honor in military or civilian, and he is the first Indian Prime Minister to receive this honor. इसके अलावा जैसे आपने कवरेज में देखा, जो फ्रांस का बहुत वर्ल्ड फेमस हिस्टोरिकल म्यूजियम है लूव्र, that was specially opened up on a particular day when it was closed for the public, because on that day there's a very heavy footfall, and it was opened up for the Prime Minister for a special dinner. And I tried to do some research, और मुझे पता लगा कि ये ऑनर जो है फ्रांस की तरफ से, it has been extended once earlier to Queen Elizabeth when she visited France in 1957. So this is part of my research which I want to share with you. इसके अलावा the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor, which the Prime Minister was bestowed, this has earlier been bestowed on the former President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, King Charles, when he was then Prince of Wales, the former Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, a former UN Secretary General, Boutros Ghali, a few others. But apart from this honor, which was bestowed on the Prime Minister, मैं आपको ये भी आपको याद करवाना चाहूँगा कि recently some other top international awards and honors from various countries were bestowed on the Prime Minister. These include the Order of the Nile by Egypt in June 2023, Companion of the Order of Fiji in May 2023, Ibaki Award by the Republic of Palau in May 2023, Order of the Druk Gyalpo by Bhutan in 2021, Legion of Merit by the US government in 2020, King Hamad Order of the Renaissance by Bahrain in 2019, and so on and so forth. Many awards which bear testimony, if anyone needed, to the very high popularity ratings of our Honorable Prime Minister and the country's standing in the international arena. India and France are celebrating 25 years of strategic partnership. This partnership is built on strong grounds of liberty, equality, democracy, and reinforcement of the commitment to jointly confront all challenges before us. I want to draw your attention to the Horizon 2047 statement, 25th anniversary of the India-France strategic partnership and towards a century of India-France relations. This is a long statement, but I will just draw your attention to some of the subheadings so you get a flavor that this was not just a relationship or rather a visit which was high on optics, it was also very high on substantive outcomes. But more than that, it also provides the basis, the grounds for cooperation in the next 25 years. One is building sovereign defense capabilities together, then providing concrete solutions to make the Indo-Pacific an area of stability and sustainable development. Number 3, putting space at the heart of our strategic relationship, adapting the fight against terrorism to the new threat to better protect our citizens, promoting a renewed and effective multilateralism, joining forces to make science, technological innovation and academic cooperation vectors of progress and independence for our countries, strengthening energy security to meet our climate objectives, jointly addressing the triple crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution, supporting urban and ecological transitions in India as well as social inclusion, promoting exchange especially for the benefit of youth, promoting regular dialogue between our cultures and so on. मैं आपको, behind this vision document, there are concrete areas within that identified for cooperation. Many agreements were signed. Some, I have a listing here of the documents which have been concluded. There have been cooperation in political strategic affairs, cooperation on sustainable development, cooperation of people-to-people exchange and welfare. And some of these declarations are included in the roadmap going further. Some of them mark a culmination of the excellent progress that we have had in the bilateral relationship. Some of the outcomes will immediately reflect in benefit straight away for the people. For instance, when we come to the area of contact, we have decided to open a new consulate general in Marseille. Issuance of 5-year validity short stay Schengen visa for Indians who are degree holders from French educational institutions, master's degree and exemption of visas on official passports. So basically there are decisions which will impact on people-to-people directly. There are those in the science sector, space sector, defense sector, which are part of the ongoing collaboration. For instance, if you read the joint statement, one thing that comes out very clearly, especially in the in section 1.2, Partnership for Security and Sovereignty, building sovereign defense capability. In the future, India and France will extend their groundbreaking defense cooperation in advanced aeronautical technologies by supporting the joint development of a combat aircraft engine. They also supported industrial cooperation for motorization of heavy lift helicopters under the Indian multi-role helicopter program with Safran helicopter engine France. So these are just some examples, right, from people to people, defense, space. Now these agreements are very many, and I think the time we have at our disposal is not that much, so I thought I'll give you an overview. Abhi, now I want to come to our the UAE part of the visit. Again, as a student of diplomatic relations, both in France and the UAE, I was struck with the very, I would say, heartwarming effort made by both the host countries. प्रधानमंत्री जी के लिए बैस्टिल डे परेड पे गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर, लूव्र म्यूजियम खुलवाना उनके लिए स्पेशल डिनर के लिए, और एक ही बार हुआ 1957 में। और ये जो बैस्टिल डे परेड भी है, मैंने कोशिश की करना, हु वाज द लास्ट विजिटर, I think it was President Trump in 2017. I need to check that out. When before coming here, I was checking. So these are singular honors. When you come to UAE, again, I'm told the visit of the Prime Minister to UAE on 15 July. This is the 15 July 2023. This is the Honorable Prime Minister's 5th visit to the UAE. I think he went there first in 2015. And some significant decisions which have been taken, which I think bear mention. One is the opening of a new IIT Delhi campus in Abu Dhabi. This is the first IIT campus outside of India, and it is a significant milestone in the growing partnership between the two countries. The campus will be a major boost to education and research in the UAE. It will also help create opportunities for collaboration between Indian and UAE businesses. जैसे आप जानते हैं, हमारे जो इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज और प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, these are not only centers of excellence for learning, but यहाँ की जो टेक्निकल नॉलेज होता है उसको वो आप you use it also for ongoing projects elsewhere. Number 2, an MOU was signed on local currency settlements. अब देखिए, हमारी और अबू धाबी की जो bilateral trade है is currently around $85 billion, and the non-oil trade is slated to go up to about $100 billion annually. Now the trade transactions will be enabled to be settled in the use of Indian rupees and UAE dirham for cross-border transaction. Then an MOU was inked for the payment and messaging system between Reserve Bank of India and Central Bank of the UAE. Also facilitated another one for interlinking card switches of the two countries. So in this short visit, again, very substantive outcomes. And Prime Minister has also, if you look at the joint statement between India and the UAE on climate change, the Prime Minister has extended full support to the UAE, which will be assuming the COP28 presidency, and both countries have signed a joint statement on climate change, and these all documents are available in the public domain. I will, because our time is very short, I'm going to conclude, but I'd be happy to take one or two questions. I just want to tell you that, again, as a student of diplomacy and diplomatic exchanges, आप देखिए पिछले कुछ हफ्तों में the Honorable Prime Minister had a highly successful visit to Tokyo for the G7 summit. After that, he went to the South Pacific for a meeting, then on to Australia. उसके बाद he visited the United States in a landmark visit, and now these visits to France and the UAE. So I would say that in terms of both the sheer momentum of our exchanges with the outside world, also the kind of events which are planned for the coming weeks leading up to the G20 summit. So I think it's an India flavor and an India story in many parts of the world. And certainly these all have very, very positive outcomes in both bilateral and multilateral arena. So I'd be happy to take a few questions.
तो केंद्रीय मंत्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी को आप सुन रहे थे, जिन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की जो विदेश यात्रा रही उसको लेकर अपना पक्ष रखा, बीजेपी का पक्ष रखा। और इस दौरान सीधे तौर पर उन्होंने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री की ये यात्रा काफ़ी सफल रही है, जिसमें फ्रांस और यूएई दोनों ही देशों के साथ में कई सारे मुद्दों को लेकर के MOU साइन हुए हैं। साथ ही उन्होंने कहा कि भारत और फ्रांस ने रणनीतिक साझेदारी के 25 साल और पूरे कर लिए हैं, जिसमें फ्रांस के सर्वोच्च सम्मान से प्रधानमंत्री को सम्मानित भी किया गया। और सिर्फ फ्रांस ही नहीं, उन्होंने बताया कि इससे पहले और भी कई सारे अन्य देशों ने प्रधानमंत्री को ये सम्मान दिया जा चुका है, जो देश का सर्वोच्च सम्मान होता है उससे पीएम को नवाजा जा चुका है। साथ ही ये जो सम्मान दिए गए पीएम को, ये सभी सम्मान वैश्विक स्तर पर प्रधानमंत्री की लोकप्रियता को दर्शाते हैं। इसके साथ ही उन्होंने बताया कि कई सारे ऐसे सेक्टर हैं जिसमें साइंस सेक्टर, डिफेंस सेक्टर और स्पेस सेक्टर जिन पर एमओयू साइन किए गए हैं। इसके अलावा उन्होंने बताया कि फ्रांस के मार्सेले में नया वाणिज्य दूतावास भारत की तरफ से खुला जाएगा। दोनों ही देशों में जब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी पहुंचे तो तहे दिल से उनका स्वागत वहां पर किया गया, जिसकी तस्वीरें भी हमने आपको कई बार दिखाई और साथ ही प्रधानमंत्री को बेस्टिल परेड डे में आमंत्रित भी किया गया था, जिसमें वो शामिल हुए थे। इसके अलावा केंद्रीय मंत्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी ने बताया कि लोकल करेंसी पर आपसी सहमति बनी है, एमओयू साइन हुआ है। एरोनॉटिकल प्रौद्योगिकी के क्षेत्र में दोनों देश अब आगे आने वाले समय में भविष्य में एक साथ काम करते हुए नजर आएंगे। अबू धाबी और भारत के बीच में कई सारे डॉलर्स को लेकर के भी आपसी सहमति बनी। साथ ही प्रधानमंत्री का जो ये पूरा दौरा रहा है उससे कहीं ना कहीं काफ़ी ठोस नतीजे निकले हैं। तो ये तमाम बातें